Hey everyone, it's day 11 of Fire Emblem February, and I'm Off Track West. Fire Emblem is no strangers to tragic bad endings. When it comes to the characters' epilogues you get at the end of the game, anything can happen. From your characters becoming the kings and queens they're destined to be, to them settling down and getting married. However, some endings for characters get insanely depressing, and I wanted to take a look at some of the most tragic endings in this series. This video will have spoilers for several games, so you've been warned. Starting off with the most wholesome friendship in the series, Tobin and Grey. Tobin and Grey both grew up in Ram Village alongside Alm. Both of them joined the Deliverance Army, with their banter, charm, and presence being something the player comes to look forward to. Even at the end of the first act of the game, when Alm leads the Deliverance to take Zovia Castle from Regal, and he's declared a hero, the humble beginnings of the three of them and Tobin and Grey's friendship brings us down to reality. In this support, we follow them chasing after the same girl, Claire, and by the end of the game, Grey ends up winning her over. In the normal endings, Tobin ends up as a knight in their one kingdom, with Alm honoring him with his own castle, whereas Grey ends up being a knight as well, married to Claire, the girl they've been vying after. But there is no hard feelings between the both of them, and their friendship still remains.
Hey, the writing is on the wall. She's out of my league, but I don't have to throw away the good things I do have over her. You know, like my best friend.
I wouldn't want to lose my best pal either.
Good. What do you say we make it through today and figure things out from there?
It's a date. Or a plan. Whatever, let's do what you just said.
However, Gaiden and its remake Echoes are games that change the character epilogues depending on which of your party members die. In the case where Grey dies, Tobin vanishes, only returning several years later with the same targeted person he used to be gone, which is pretty brutal. And in the case where Tobin dies, Grey retires his sword. So hurt by his friend's death, he becomes a raging alcoholic, with only Claire being able to get him back on his feet. Together, they end up settling down and naming their child Tobin. Both of these can be super depressing. If you're playing Echoes and you see these endings, you know you did something wrong and it hurts. The friendship Tobin and Grey form is a truly powerful connection, and I think it's a testament to the quality of the game that it makes the player feel the impact of what would happen if they lose each other. Priscilla in Fire Emblem 7 is simply destined for unhappiness. Priscilla is a noble lady from the Faunland House of Cornwall, now adopted by Count Urifa. While some of her supports explore her checkered past, her support with her brother Raven has some implications. The majority of the rest of the supports has Priscilla falling in love with someone, only for them to not be able to get together because of her status as a noble lady. I did support with the Lycian Knight Shane. Over the course of their support, Shane, in his usual flirtatious bravado, tries to charm her by calling her princess, which she's initially taken aback by. Following that in their B support, Shane can pick up the sadness Priscilla carries within herself, wanting her to open up, but she doesn't want to tell Shane what particularly has her heart taken, and this concludes in the A support. There, an injured Shane is being treated by Priscilla, who's already used to doing this several times. Priscilla asks him if she should constantly be at his side when he isn't her lady, and he responds that Lynn has given him permission to do so. Then, Priscilla asks him if he's willing to stay by her side forever and come back to Urifa with her. Shane is taken aback by this. Usually he's the one pursuing a woman he's interested in, but this is the one time the tables were turned on him. Shane was almost giving her lip service, being his cheerful, boastful self. But now that the conversation's serious, as a knight, he can't bring himself to leave, even if he does want to leave with Priscilla. Knowing they can't be together, she asks him to continue to smile so they can share the time that they have. Priscilla doesn't get to have her happy ending that we're so used to. Instead, the person she wants to be with can't be together with her. This had me so unhappy that in my next run, I went out of my way to put her with Urt, the only person I know that she can have a future with, only for him to die because I mispositioned him. I let her down. The last tragic ending I want to look at is in Three Houses, specifically the case where you have Felix join the Black Eagle, which happened in my first run. In the case where Felix joins Black Eagles, he does it in pursuit of his own strength, but also as a rejection of the ideals of chivalry the kingdom holds. Not to say that he's wrong in not being for chivalry and in pursuing strength, just to say that this is a look at where his ideals could take him. In this situation, Felix has to fight his family and all of his friends.
So, my foolish son, you took it upon yourself to leave your family behind. won't serve the boar.
It's a father's duty to settle his child's failures. Felix, you must die here and now.
And when fighting them all, you can clearly see a deep look of regret and sadness in his face. In his fight with Sylvain, they reminisce on the promise they once made as children, to die by each other's side. Here it's fulfilled in the worst way possible.
Hey Felix, remember when we were kids and we made a promise about dying together? I remember. Well, seems we're about to kill each other. Sorry, Sylvain. You'll die first.
Even fighting Dimitri, you could argue Felix is convincing himself to do it more than he actually wants to.
You killed Rodrigue. Your own father, Felix.
I said I'd cut down anyone who stood in my way. Even my father. Even my friends.
In monastery conversations, Felix even states that in the 5 years he'd been fighting, he became everything he saw in Dimitri and hated. And when we get to his solo ending, he becomes a wandering swordsman, bringing death to everywhere he goes. Seeing that actually broke me. While I was satisfied for the endings I got with my other characters, I couldn't get Felix's own happy ending. This is one that stuck with me, knowing that he became a lone wandering swordsman who killed everyone he loved. The only thing that can save him from his wandering is his connection with others. In supports where Felix becomes a wandering swordsman, bringing death everywhere he goes, likely even seeking his own death, there are a few people able to bring him back to reality. Seeing Lysithea live a peaceful life with her family in spite of her own short lifespan is enough to make him give up the sword and live alongside her, seeing how precious life is. In his Dorothea ending, her opera performances give him a place he could always return to, no matter how far he wanders. And she, in kind, looks forward to seeing him in the crowd for her performances, dedicated to him. And in his Mercedes ending, her kindness is described as being able to help him turn his life around. It's a bittersweet tale seeing the lengths he can go to as a character before finding a place he could be at ease. I think endings in Fire Emblem are much more varied than people give them credit for. Sure, we, the player, want these characters to have happy endings after spending hours playing with them, but the tragic endings during there are something that just stick with me, just as much, if not more, than the happier ones. It makes the characters feel that much more alive, with the fact that both can happen, and I think there's beauty in that experience Fire Emblem is able to create, both in tragic endings and in happy endings. I hope you all are doing great and having fun with Theft. Please like, comment, subscribe, and tell me all about your tragic endings in Fire Emblem.